WMMR.
I hate to do this. We have some really bad news. We've been getting some texts and some calls coming in to us to inform us that unfortunately a friend of ours was killed this morning in a car accident. And is it 100% confirmed?
Yeah, I just talked to April.
Ryan Dunn of Jackass. We've known him since that whole thing started.
Just had him in here.
He was just here a few weeks ago. His show on G4 looked like it was really going to be something that would take him to the next level.
He was very excited about it.
Yep, and he was killed in a car accident.
Oh, man.
I don't know much about it.
It was the accident that I was reporting all morning, apparently.
It was on 322 out by Westchester, West Goshen. There was a report that he was going 110 miles an hour in a black Porsche, that there were 3 people, including Ryan, in the car. These are all unconfirmed reports coming in via text, but people who had been speaking with police and fire department in that area.
3 people. Do we know if anybody else was killed, or
I don't know,
or if he? I mean, you talked.
I just
to April?
talked to April.
What'd
yeah.
she say, Case?
She just said it's true. She was just devastated. So
Well, it's like one of her kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
I just spent this whole not this whole weekend. I spent a decent amount of time on Saturday having some drinks with friends and watching a lot of Jackass stuff. And they had 3.5 on MTV. And then they had this thing that I'd never seen before. It was the Jackass the early years, and spent time with Jeff Tremaine and Ryan Dunn and Johnny Knoxville and Bam. And Ryan might have been the most likable out of all of those guys.
I agree.
Maybe the most normal, maybe the easiest to talk to.
Yes. He was. They're all very cool guys, and they all marched to the beat of a different drummer, as did Ryan. But Ryan was. He was the conduit that was the most lucid most of the time, and he just. The last time he was in here, Preston, remember you and I just, man, it's great to talk to him because he comes in, he gets it.
We got done after the show and he had left, and we're like, man, Ryan has really come a long way. He's just such a cool guy, and he's the one that I want to talk to when we're going to talk about Jackass or anything else that's going on in that Bam Margera camp, and it's just that really sucks in a huge way. I mean, we'll find out if any of this stuff is true or not. But doing 100 or so miles an hour in his car, that's what he did. He tinkered with cars. And
he was a good. He was a good driver. Obviously,
he was a racer.
We don't know the specifics of that whole thing and where the fault is. But it's funny because on a certain level. And funny in the context of this, here was a guy who tempted fate all the time, and I just considered him basically invincible.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who just would do the most harrowing things, and I never had concern. It's like he just comes through, and here it is for all those stunts and for all those things and the injuries. It happens just in passing on the and locally.
Yeah. The G4 show, was that...
It had just a couple... They'd shot, I believe, the full season.
Yeah.
So they have all that, but it had just premiered a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And we just said Charlie Day was just in here, and Ryan was telling us last time he was here, which was on the 1st, by the way, of this month, he had... that they were going to work together with It's Always Sunny. And... we had mentioned it to Charlie here just a second. He goes, yeah, I think we can make that type of thing happen. And then we got off. We were getting text messages during that interview. I didn't see them until the interview was over. And then we mentioned it to Charlie, and we were all like, is this really going on? Is this happening?
It's the thing now is to pick like...
an obscure... or somebody who's not an A-lister.
Right.
And say that they were killed or something along those lines and start an internet rumor. So we didn't quite believe it at first. But made a few phone calls, and Marissa's checking with the police and Kathy as well. And the texts that we were getting were coming from people who were work with the fire department, where their relatives are with the fire department or something like that.
He was on Minute to Win It last night.
Really?
Yeah.
And then this one says right now they're reporting 2 deaths.
Oh wow!
From that accident. So I don't know anything about it other than that.
If he's, we don't know who he's with, but he had his cluster of buddies locally.
Yeah, hey, he and Bam in the early days of when Jackass hit would come by our old studios on 352 and Route 1 and Media.
You remember the first time we met Ryan? You remember what he did?
Jumped off the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He walked into the studio.
What?
We're on the second floor.
Yeah.
Which went right out to the roof of the floor below it.
And there was a tree.
He walked in through. He said, "Hey guys!" He walked out the window and jumped off the roof.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And then came up and he'd gone down the full length of this huge
Like fir tree or something like
and
that. Yeah.
Pants leg was torn up and blood and
Yeah,
the whole
that's
thing.
right.
And I was like, well, okay.
Kathy, did they say what time when you were doing the traffic reports that this accident happened? Because we didn't start getting the first text I think that we got was like at 8:45 or 8:50, something like that, and it just said that Ryan Dunn was killed in a car crash outside Westchester at an underpass.
Yeah, it doesn't give a time that it started. Like once it goes away off the screen, it's gone. But I mean, I started reporting it. I think that first traffic report.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I
A
just read-
couple of texts have come up who are like, who are you talking about? So it's Ryan Dunn of the whole Jackass crew and G4 and all of that. Apparently killed in a car accident this morning.
I just read 3 a.m. was the crash.
Okay.
It was a single car crash.
Really? 3 a.m.? Wow, because it takes a while for that information to get out.
And you never, and especially in a case where you're reporting on the death of someone, you don't want to misreport and get the
Right.
proper name. But yeah, that just takes the breath out of you.
Yes.
Because we were so impressed and just really looked forward to having him come. He came out to the St. Patrick's Day broadcast.
Yeah.
And had just kind of last minute. Can you come out? And he did. He was always very accommodating.
He wasn't promoting anything. He
No.
didn't have to be there. He came out he came out to Finnegan's Wake, and he and I were trying to get that stupid potato gun to work.
And then Casey was apologizing to him when he was here on. I'm looking at the photos on June 1st.
Yeah.
Talking about Proving Ground that was on G4. And Casey, when he was in, you were just like, I'm really sorry that we had you come out to St. Patty's Day because we did the stunt with you and then we just kind of lost you.
Yeah, he just kind of disappeared into the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how he was.
His birthday was on June 11th.
Oh God.
He was talking about being at Finnegan's and kind of hanging with some other people there and said, I really am not germane to this at this point.
Yeah. Marissa brought me, this is from CBS Philly's website. 2 people have died in a single car crash in Chester County. Police say the double fatal crash happened at about 3 a.m., Route 322 and New Street in West Goshen Township. I'm trying to think of where that is on 322. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Further details were not immediately available. It doesn't say Ryan's name here, but we've gotten enough information from different people that it was him. That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to find out more about this and what's going on, but I don't know what to do.
No.
I mean, we've known him for so long, and always a joy to have him by and hang out with and party with. And I mean, the first time I met him was at Iron Hill Brewery in Westchester, and it was right when, and it was before we had him on the show. I don't know if you were there or not, Casey.
No, I wasn't.
But he came strolling in, and somebody's like, "Yeah, this guy Ryan Jackass was here," and I came over to him, and we just started talking and hit it off right away. Couldn't have been a nicer guy to talk to. That was before he got the big bushy beard,
Right.
I
remember the time, Preston, we were talking to him on the phone, and he was at a remember this? He's at a party or something. He goes, "Where are you pussies?"
Yeah.
Because he would always joke about the fact that we had much different hours than he had. So he got it, and it was very funny the way he would rib us for that.
Casey, Bam Margera had a radio show. How long did you produce for him?
Probably 2-3 years, maybe.
And was Ryan a part of that a lot?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
Sometimes. He didn't really like the spotlight, but he would come in and he would have his regular cast of characters and stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah, he'd always. I remember when he came by. They had been at, was it the Oscars or something like that?
Oh, was it the MTV?
Maybe, yeah, it was
Awards?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the MTV Awards. And apparently, there's like all these after parties and pre-parties and all this stuff. And Ryan decided to stumble into this, I think he called it like the Dewdrop Inn, or just like a hole in the wall with a couple of, barflies hanging out. And he was much more comfortable there than with all the glitz of what was going on. I remember I asked, I'm like, really? You didn't want to go that? And he looks at me, he goes, you've known me forever.
Yeah.
Would you describe my personality as bubbly? You know?
I wonder, in case of the collective, I mean, Bam, it's going to devastate everybody, but Bam and he were
They've been friends for a real long time, and as their careers sort of took off, Ryan and Bam really their friendship really did stay intact. And the last I had read was that Bam was in Phoenix because one of his friends or assistants accidentally put diesel fuel in his Lamborghini.
Yeah, it was on a TMZ.
On TMZ,
yeah.
And so that cost a lot of money to fix because it kind of ruined the whole transmission. And he was supposed to be flying to Phoenix at that point.
Okay.
So I don't know where he's at right now, but
we're looking at Nick found photos. There are pictures somehow or another up online already of the car, and you can't even tell what that is.
There's nothing left.
And apparently it went over a guardrail into the woods. It looks like along that stretch of 322, wherever it is pretty densely covered in trees. And there's a shot of the leftover of this wreckage, just as twisted as you can imagine, and in pieces, not in one piece.
Is that burned or is that just shredded apart?
It looks, the trees and stuff around don't look burned, Kathy, so it may be just that it's just mangled like that.
There was one report, and again, these are early reports, so take it for what it's worth, but that one person in the car accident was burned to death.
Whoa, okay.
And then one person died on impact.
Somebody just texted in, is this the first person of that cast to die? As far as I know, yes.
Yeah.
Casey, because we were always amazed that somebody hadn't died.
Yeah. And then at a certain point, as I said before, I just figured there are a select group of people who can go through life and do this stuff and not have any. They have no fear of death and they don't get touched by it. But here it is, and he has.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt Ryan had the no fear of death thing.
Yeah,
but
not as much as the other.
Yeah,
guy, at least in the embryonic stages.
But maybe felt that he was in control enough to where things like that wouldn't go wrong. But despite as ridiculous as the stunts on Jackass seem, they did kind of plan out how to go about things. Some of them not quite as well as they could have. Like I know that Johnny Knoxville. Like the rocket when he was hooked onto that could have killed him.
Yep. Well, and Ryan was talking about the last time he was here about the jumping into the raw sewage
yes.
He jumped into it. He did not realize that about 1.5 feet below his feet, as he was treading in that muck, was a turning
like a meat grinder.
Meant to process the stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is bad news. This is sad. This is terrible. And we're a little upset. Obviously, a lot upset. But we'll find out more and see what we can pass along to you. But that's very, very sad news. Ryan Dunn, our friend, killed in a car accident today.
Preston and Steve on 93.3